For children with imagination, the world of the Micronauts.
Spacemen, robots, vehicles, some with magnets, some with batteries, and all with interchangeable parts, so your child can create dozens of different toys. And when Micronauts start a child's imagination working, he can create just about anything. Toys that climb, toys that spin, toys that float, toys that stimulate young minds.
Look what I made.
Micronauts by Mego.
Well, hello, and welcome to Stop, Let's Team Up, episode 69. Welcome to the Microverse. I thought today we would talk about Micronauts number 1. There's been big news that there is going to be a ROM and a Micronauts Omnibus coming out from Marvel. These are two incredibly good licensed comics. They are two great comic books. One good reason is they're both written by Bill Mantlo, and both they were allowed to create a universe for these characters and create characters that went beyond the toys, because this toy was not as popular, more popular than ROM, but not, it wasn't this big. It wasn't G.I. Joe, it wasn't Transformers, it wasn't that big. But this comic book series is incredibly loved for good reason, and still talked about to this day. So I thought I'd talk about just issue 1 and, go over it a little bit and then give you my take on it, because this is a really important comic to me when I was a kid. I mean, I reread it regularly, like read, but we'll get to that. Well, let's first start with the pertinent data for Micronauts number 1. It was released on September 19th, 1978, a little more than a month before my 14th birthday. Cover date January 1979. Writer Bill Mantlo, penciler Mike Golden, inker Joseph Rubinstein, colorist Glynis Wine, letterer Tom Orskowski, and editor Al Milgram. That's an all-star cast, and this first issue is called Earth, even though they're not on Earth. So the main characters of the Microns is Arcturus Rand, Marionette, Croyer, Bug, Biotron, and Microtron. Woohoo! The villain is the evil Baron Karza. Other characters: Prince Shatine, Prince Aragon, Oberon, Prince Aragon's horse, first appearance. Time Traveler, who is the personification of the Enigma Force. It takes place in the Microverse. Also, we get to meet their ship. The cover is a great Dave Cockrum, Al Milgram cover. I think when I get my Omni, I'm going to get this one because it is such a good cover, even though I do love Michael Golden, and we're going to talk about his art. But let's get the synopsis. This is from the Marvel Wiki, so it's a little more detailed, but I kind of wanted to go on it because a lot of you may not have read this comic. I hope some of you have. So let's go to the synopsis that they have on the Marvel site. Chapter 1, Homeworld. Prince Aragon and Princess Mary, with several retainers, are fleeing on horseback from a squad of flying couriers. The aristocracy has been overthrown by Baron Karza, who has promised the citizens immortality via his body banks. When the two reach a place called Shelter, Mary laments the recent death of their parents. Aragon summons a time traveler, emissary of the Enigma Force, and harbinger of the darkest times imaginable. Karza's dog soldiers shell the building and take Aragon prisoner. Chapter 2, Homecoming. The HMS Endeavour lands on Homeworld after 1,000 years exploring the Microverse. Commander Arcturus Rand steps out, expecting an honor guard. The dog soldiers there, however, take aim at him and fire. Karza calls Rand an X-Factor and orders him thrown into the dungeons. There he awakens in a cell full of aliens, including Bug and a Croyer, who rescue him from the others. They tell Rand that warp drive was invented during his trip, and Karza used it to conquer the other worlds of the Microverse. Rand seems most surprised, though, that Dr. Karza, his old professor, is behind all the recent events. Outside the cell, a bot entertains the crowd by making a young woman dance. They are Microtron and Mary, now going by the name Marionette. Rand is smitten. Chapter 3, Escape. The next morning, Rand, Bug, and a Croyer are herded into the Coliseum where Microtron and Marionette are performing. Bug tells Rand that Marionette is a princess who has joined the underground and that an escape is in the works. The door closes, but Marionette is kept inside. A death tank enters and begins firing its pulses and cannons into the captives. A courier tells Rand that he is an X-Factor and must be protected. Bug vaults onto the tank and throws his packet bomb through the eye slits, while a courier assaults its wheels. A time traveler appears to Rand and says, "I have many names, Commander, and I have lived them all. Some call me the Enigma Force." Rand is mystified. Then the underground's charges blow and the Coliseum is thrown into chaos. Rand, Bug, and a courier find Marionette already in a getaway car. She swears by Dallin and Cephas, the first to rebel against Karza and now deities. Rand is shocked because they were his parents. Pursuit falls away as a group makes its way to the Endeavor. Shatine asks Karza why they are allowed to escape, and Karza tells him that which he cannot fathom must sometimes be made to reveal itself. Biotron notified by telepathy has the ship ready to go. The three fighters follow the ship into space, but where the Micronauts go, they cannot follow. Biotron takes the ship through the fringes of the Microverse and then through the space wall to whatever lies beyond. That's a really good synopsis. A little long, and bear with me, guys. I'm being terrible. You don't want me writing them; they're terrible. That's from the Marvel fandom site. I think it's pretty good. Sometimes they're a lot shorter, and sometimes they're not accurate at all. This was pretty accurate. So let's just talk about a couple notes that I see here, and I was thinking about. I mean, the toys. Many of the toys appear in this issue. The Stratus Station, the Thorian Orbiter, the Galactic Cruiser. Also, the Death Tank looks like some of the toys in the commercial. And if you, at the beginning, instead of playing the theme, I played you the audio of the commercial. So things are modeled really after the toys. This issue has a one-page introduction panel, which I posted, which is pretty cool. The issue also introduces the pulse ray and its largest weapon, the pulse cannon, a weapon that kills the target but leaves the organs undamaged for harvesting, which is kind of creepy. This is a Bill Mantlo creation, and I was watching some other videos on it real quickly that he was really intrigued by the toys and he thought he could do something with them, and he does. He really does, and he does it with Rom too. He creates this great, fully formed world with these great characters. I mean, I love this team. It is a great classic super team. And it's just, he does such a good job. I will never not sing the praises of the amazing Bill Mantlo. The amount of stuff he did that is just so well loved and well respected. I just can't imagine if he had ever, and I think this was a big book. I don't know how much this sold. I think it was incredibly popular. It is for people of my generation and a little younger. Everybody's excited about the omnibus, but it's great. But it starts with that great Dave Cockrum cover, and then the art by Michael Golden and Joseph Rubinstein is just freaking stunning. If you're not familiar with Michael Golden, please check out his Batman Families. That's a good. He did a lot of Batman family stuff. Man Bat in those big giant comics. One, they're fun, but two, there's Michael Golden in it. He did a crate run on the Nam. He pops up in, I think, Englehart's Doc Strange? I'm not sure. I'm blanking. I mean, he is an incredibly good, he did a lot of covers in the 80s and 90s. He was just he is a great comic artist. He's born October 1955. Oh, cool. He's just done so much stuff. He's worked for everybody: Marvel, Malibu, DC, Wildstorm, Continuity, Image, Dark Horse, Topps, Dynamite, Entertainment Boom Studios, IDW, and Digital Webbing. And he's done everything. He's a writer, penciler, did a lot of cover on. In the fandom wiki, he has 244 covers for Marvel. That's how much. He was kind of like, he was a go-to cover guy. His own books and other people's books. Micronauts, X-Men. Just an amazing artist, and this art is so good. And going through the thing, at the opening page, chapter 1, the font for Tom Wachowski is one of the greatest letterers of all time, period. And stop Glennis Wing, one of the best colorists, because the use of colors and zipatone in this, the animals are a different color. It's just so well together. Joseph Rubinstein finishing it, but it's just amazing. It starts out action-packed. with just the dialogue and then a little side, but a little narration. I don't think Bill Mantlo ever really overwrites, so that's good. But I mean, it's just really it's moving in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. That first chapter is 5 pages, and you're introduced to the political thing. You're given you don't know what the body banks are, but it sounds bad. You get to meet the Acroyers and some ships, and you get to see Karza, and he's in his centaur form, which I think is cool. That he sometimes has 2 legs and sometimes he has the lower torso of a horse. And then Chapter 2, Homecoming, is when Rand comes back. This is very much like Vance Astrovic, 1,000 years going out in a slower-than-light ship, and the Traveler comes back, and things have changed. But this time his parents are gods, and his teacher is a mass-murdering sociopath. So, and just the design work on everything. There's just the character design, everything. Just so beautiful. And he's captured quickly. And I mean it. Page 11 in the comic, I'm reading it in a reprint that had when they put out the first 12. The first 12 is the first arc. It's great. And this is just a tease for later. When the Omni comes out, I will probably do a series of Micronauts episodes an arc at a time. Because I think it's a valid superhero team. It's part of the Marvel Universe, and it needs to be talked about. So it's great. And the aliens all look great. There's a very Star Wars kind of feel to this, and I think that's why it resonated. I mean, it's 2 years after Star Wars. It has a better script than some of Lucas's prequel movies. I would say this. You could adapt this into a movie using Bill Mantlo's script and be fine. And make it part of the Marvel Universe. If they could just buy the rights to these and own them forever, I think that would be great. I've not read the IDW. Is it IDW who did the other one? I'm thinking about when they've done both, because this will take 2 volumes in an omnibus, I think, for both series. And both the New Voyages and the original are both great. And they both are wonderfully written and drawn throughout. You even get some really good 70s disco in, then it is fill-ins. Because, I mean, Golden is only on it really for the first year or so. And then Pat Broderick drew it. Oh my God, he drew it so well. And Butch Geist did some. Those are the top 3 artists on both series that I really loved. And I read both series religiously. This was a comic that got read first. But the character designs are great. Not all of these are... Bug is a completely invented for the comic, so hence that's how he could be in Guardians of the Galaxy... in some of the, the post-Annihilation run on Guardians. So, but it just, Acroyers looks great. I'm kind of gushing. I just read this morning. I'm all excited because I hadn't read it in a while. But the battle sequences in the Coliseum are incredible. It's very cinematic. It's very big. It has and it ends on a cliffhanger with them stealing the Millennium Falcon. The Endeavor, and flying off into space. And next, Earth is where they're headed. And I think they run into Man-Thing in issue 2. It's so much fun. So this is a great comic. If you don't know it, it's not out there to read. An omnibus is coming out early next year. It is worth your money. I would recommend sites. 1, get it from your local comic shop if you can get a good discount. I mean, support your local comic shop. I went to Velocity today and got some half-price omnis. I got Gotham Central, Grayson, and I got the Iron Fist Epic Collection, all for half price. If you live in Richmond and this episode's going up today, you may still have time to go and peruse. I hope they did really well. They're a great shop. Ron and Pat are the best. So, and I've been going to that comic shop for 20-some years. They're just great guys. And it's a great shop. Check them out. But look forward to this. I think it's something if you're into... I don't know. If you're younger fans, you may have heard of it. If you're never gotten into it because you couldn't afford the back issues because they're hard to get. I bought a run and I sold it again when I had some money troubles. But I bought a run and it cost me like $100, and that was incredibly cheap for Micronauts. And that was just the original series. That wasn't even the new adventures. So I'm looking forward to this stuff being reprinted and more of this. So again, I will, when the Omni comes out, I will probably touch on this issue and then do 2 or 3 issues at a time. And I hope that interests you, so let me know. All right, folks. Well, that's it for today. Coming up Tuesday is the next the next episode of Opal City Confidential, a Starman podcast, and then Amazing Dave Steele comes back to talk to me about times past, where we hear the story of the Justice Society versus Ragdoll. We record this all the way back in April. I'm so excited you all are going to get to hear it. And then a week from there, it will be me and Dave talking All-Star Comics 8, the first Justice Society in which Starman starred in. This Thursday, as always, My Legion Adventure, unless work gets in the way. That seems to be, the episode that gets hit the most. I hope not. And then next week, I hopefully am recording, me and Kirby are going to back talk more Secret Six. And I think you'll like that, because I just finished reading the first 6-issue mini after Villains United, and it's amazing. So I look forward to that. So, folks, as always, be smart, be safe, be kind to one another. Don't be a Baron Karza and steal people for their body parts. And read some comics.
For children with imagination, the world of the Micronauts.
Spacemen, robots, vehicles, some with magnets, some with batteries, and all with interchangeable parts, so your child can create dozens of different toys. And when Micronauts start a child's imagination working, he can create just about anything. Toys that climb, toys that spin, toys that float, toys that stimulate young minds.
Look what I made.
Micronauts by Mego.